Hello everyone, welcome back to another Kingdom Hearts 4 video, and today we'll be covering what Famitsu has been teasing since the 20th anniversary of Kingdom Hearts, which is their big interview with Tetsuya Nomura on the future projects of Kingdom Hearts 4. And within this interview, it wasn't just that Kingdom Hearts 4 was being talked about, but also like other future projects for Kingdom Hearts revolving Dark Road and The Missing Link, which are the mobile games. But today I'll just be covering the Kingdom Hearts 4 information. Now, let's just get right into it. So, shout out to Audrey on Twitter for translating a lot of the information from the magazine, since Famitsu is exclusively in Japan and everything is in Japanese. Shout out to her on Twitter for translating it for us and giving the latest Kingdom Hearts 4 information along with other stuffs. If you want to also read the other information on your own, I will link her Twitter and the thread down below in the description box and also in the comment section, so feel free to click on that link. Also, if you are new to the channel, normally what I do is talk about the news and I sort of discuss towards the end of how I feel about these certain details when it comes to news or game or whatever. But anyway, let's hop right into it. And it says here, Famitsu confirms that KH4 centers around the Lost Masters arc, and they are supposedly the 6 disciples that studied under the Master of Masters, aka the Foretellers. Nomura mentions the antagonists for the Lost Master arc revolve around the 5 disciples who disappeared. Famitsu confirms that Kingdom Hearts 4 takes place a year after Kingdom Hearts 3. They also asked Nomura why he decided to change Sora's hair to look flatter in KH4. Nomura says that because it's the start of a new story with the Lost Master arc, they wanted to change the design drastically. Nomura mentions in the new Famitsu interview that because he was torn between making Kingdom Hearts 4 or Verum Rex as the next game in the series, he can't say whether or not the Nameless Star will be in Kingdom Hearts 4, since she is technically part of Verum Rex. Nomura says he cannot talk about the 2 mysterious Black Robe figures in the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer. However, what he can say is that they have added a third scenario writer to their team, Akiko Ishibashi, who worked in The World Ends With You. Here's a translation. And in the question it says, who are the 2 people who donned the black coats in the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer? I'm afraid I can't reveal that. In other news, the addition to Oka Masuru, who has helped me with the writing scenarios for Kingdom Hearts series, we have also added Ishibashi Akiko to our team. We are currently writing the scenario for the story Among Us 3. What was the reasoning behind that? Nomura replies with, the main reason is because we are wondering how we could appeal to the fans who have never experienced Kingdom Hearts before and who are new to the series. Ishibashi has worked on many titles such as The World Ends With You, and she is very good at putting together character logic and behaviors. I always thought she would be a great fit for the Kingdom Hearts series. And that's pretty much it for the latest Kingdom Hearts 4 info of what we got from the magazine. Well, actually Audrey in the end of the thread actually says that I think that's about all the things I've translated thus far from this interview alone. If I add more translations later this week, I'll be sure to link them to this master thread as well. So there may be more that she may reveal, but honestly that's pretty much probably the big important stuff of what to cover involving Kingdom Hearts 4. And again, there is much more stuff to read on her thread that involve the other projects of Kingdom Hearts, so I highly recommend you check them out and just look in her Twitter thread down below. I will link it, so feel free to click on it. Anyway, let's get on to how I actually feel about all this news about Kingdom Hearts 4. And I think it's very, oh man, what's the phrase, like I'm actually very just excited because of how literally it does sound like this whole new phase of Kingdom Hearts is really going to a whole different direction of the way Tetsuya Nomura is like really emphasizing it. The fact he changed the logo, he's changing the design of Sora to where he made him a bit older, less spiky hair, aka less anime, make him more mature, just really setting the tone for this whole new game. And I guess I could say we're going to have much of a mature storytelling, you could say, in the game, potentially. The fact that they even have The World Ends With You writer on the Kingdom Hearts team is definitely very, very interesting. Because, funny enough, last year I actually played The World Ends With You. I played Neo The World Ends With You, and I really did love that game. And I really did see a lot of similarities with how Neo The World Ends With You was very Kingdom Hearts-like, you could say, rather than Final Fantasy and such. And I was thinking at that time, I was like, man, what if Kingdom Hearts actually sort of goes this route? It can maybe actually work. Because if The World Ends With You can do it, why not Kingdom Hearts, right? Especially when they're going that whole new direction with the Yozora and Sora and fighting in Shibuya. And little did I know, we're gonna have a whole new like trailer dropping in April 2022 showing Sora in Shibuya. And it also kind of supports my theory of that Kingdom Hearts 4 may be an open world experience, or at least give an open level experience, similar to how The World Ends With You, Neo The World Ends With You plays like when you're roaming around Shibuya, or like how the KHUX series is like when you're roaming around like Tokyo. So it may go that route. You know, it's not going to be like obviously like Breath of the Wild or like Elden Ring type of open world experience, but if you're very familiar with how The World Ends With You, Neo The World Ends With You to be exact, of how it plays like when you're roaming around the city, or if you're familiar with the KHUX series of how Kiryu just roams around Tokyo, it may be like that for Quadratum. And if you want to know what the hell I'm talking about, I highly recommend to watch my previous video where I actually go full-on discussion and I explain my theory on how Kingdom Hearts 4 may approach this open level, open world design for their new game. I think this is very important to mention. I feel like a lot of people kind of may go over their heads a bit on this certain thing that he said, but this is actually really important. And it's where he said he's still wondering how he can appeal to newer fans who have never experienced, or potentially newer fans who have never experienced Kingdom Hearts before and who are new to the series. And with the mass appeal of KH4, there's definitely an audience out there who never played the Kingdom Hearts series, from what I saw with a lot of the feedback that Kingdom Hearts 4 got. And a lot of people were impressed with that Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer, and they were willing to try out the other games so that they could, you know, be hyped and be ready for Kingdom Hearts 4. I think that's still very impressive of Tetsuya Nomura himself, of him considering to still appeal to a mass audience. Even though, if you follow his work, especially with Kingdom Hearts, his storytelling, and especially with his games as well, is very exclusive to the community. You could say it's very similar to how Miyazaki and his Souls games are like, and how he has his own community as well, and he makes those games just for them. Just how Nomura makes these games just for us fans. There's a certain taste to these certain games for these certain fans to really enjoy it. And the fact that Miyazaki, and also now Nomura, because with Miyazaki, he made Elden Ring so he could have this, he was still obviously focusing within his community, but Elden Ring, he was still thinking about the mass appeal for that game as well. And now Nomura is kind of reaching that model, you could say, of trying to appeal to new fans. Now, that can be possibly problematic, but again, since this is a whole new series, and the fact that this may be typically a soft reboot for Kingdom Hearts in a fresh state for the Kingdom Hearts series, you could say, I think it's nice to have, you know, like it's gonna be something different. Like I really don't know what to necessarily say about this whole situation, other than, hey, Nomura, whatever you bring, I'm just looking forward to at this point. So, how do you guys feel about it? Comment down below. Remember to drop a like. Yeah, if you love Kingdom Hearts, remember to follow me and subscribe, and follow my other platforms, social platforms. Link is in the description of my other social media. And remember, may your heart be your guiding key. Peace out, baby.